Good morning, students, and happy Tuesday. I'm here today to talk about our short story, The Sniper, that you started reading. And this is going to be an interactive lecture where I'm going to pause and encourage you to take your focus notes. Avid students, you can use your Cornell paper. And please make sure, I'm trying to write notes here for you guys. Please make sure that you do put the date. Make sure that you put your name, because you will be getting extra credit for these when you are finally ready to turn them in to me at the end of the semester. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Here you just have a quote from the story. Then the sniper turned over the dead body and looked into his brother's face. And of course, this is the big climax of the story, because we did not know until the very end of the story that the person that the sniper had actually been fighting with this whole time was his own brother. And that's the whole idea of the Civil War and, you know, people who fight each other in a civil war. I'm still trying to insert text here, but I'm having some trouble doing it. So let's go to the next slide. So you don't have to copy down everything in this slide, students, just the stuff that I underline or highlight or circle. This is a picture here of what our author, Liam O'Flaherty, looked like. And what I would like you to do is let's write this information that I'm highlighting for you right now. The author was born on August 28th, 1898. He did come from a poverty-stricken village in Ireland. Really, from this slide, you don't need to get anything else. It does say how he was the ninth of 10 children, and also studied to be a priest. So again, from this slide, this is all that I need you to write down, is the birth date, his background, and where he's from. And feel free to pause it if you need more time, guys, okay, to write this information down, because you will be turning in screenshots to me later on as soon as we are done. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. More about Liam O'Flaherty. So let's write this information down. In 1915, he enlisted in the British Army during WW1, the First World War. Suffered a serious injury, and 2 years later in a bomb explosion. After he went through all of this, the Army discharged him because he had developed severe depression. And he, at that point, became sort of a bit of a wanderer, traveling around South America, North America, and the Middle East, working odd jobs, kind of trying to find his place in the world. So the problem with this is that Ireland did not become a fully independent country, and it was kind of separated into parts. And he did not support this treaty, and neither did other fellow Irish. So O'Flaherty's novels tend to focus on the themes of the effects of war and revolution, as you guys can see in what you read today. And O'Flaherty died on September 7th, 1984 in Dublin. So the setting of our story is in Ireland's largest city of Dublin, on the east coast of the Dublin Bay, and the story takes place at nightfall in June, after the establishment of the Irish Free State in 1922. So basically, our setting is Dublin, nightfall, 1922. Here are some pictures for you. You could see where Dublin is And you can see that here we have all of Ireland, and then near the Irish Sea, near the coast, you have the city of Dublin. So what happens when our story starts? So when our story starts, the sniper is on a rooftop, right? He's hiding there. And basically this is a building. It's a multi-story building. It has all the high courts of Ireland, and he can also overlook the river. And this divides the city into two sections. Okay, so he's up on a rooftop. He's by definition a sniper. So a sniper is someone who hides, who has excellent marksmanship, and his job is to try and assassinate, take down, injure as many people, as many enemies from the other side as he can while he's in hiding. Here's a picture of the building, right? So our sniper would have been positioned somewhere up here and overlooking. He's got a view of the bridge. He's got a view of the river. So who are our main characters? So first we have our IRA sniper. He's our main character. He's the guy that's on the roof. There's an opposing sniper. We have some dramatic irony that happens here at the end because we don't know the identity of this other sniper who's on a roof across from, we'll call him from our sniper. A turret is kind of like a machine gun, a tank machine gun. So we have a gunner, and this gunner has been shot by our IRA sniper. Now, some of you commented to me on Google Classroom, are we going to say anything about this old woman who's just been shot? Poor old lady? Well, not really poor old lady. She's actually an informer working for the other side. She betrays the position of our sniper to the machine gunner, who then obviously he has to take her down, right? It's kind of like one of the things of war. War knows no age. War knows no gender. War is not prejudice. Takes down anybody. And then we have an unseen machine gunner who is firing on our sniper after he leaves the roof. So we've got these different characters in play, but this is really our main character right here. Okay, we see everything sort of from his point of view. So let's get to point of view. You want to write down, this is told in limited third person. So what that means is we're going to see words like he, pardon my terrible punctuation, no, whatever you call that. You guys know what I mean. Penmanship. You're going to see he and she, but what you're not going to see is I. This is not told in first person. So we don't know what's going on in the mind of our sniper. It is very limited third person. We don't know a whole lot of thoughts, and we don't know what the other characters are thinking either. Okay? So the thoughts of any of our other characters are not presented when we have limited third person. O'Flaherty wrote this story while he was in the middle of this conflict with Ireland trying to gain independence through the IRA from British rule. So here's a little bit of historical background. Basically, in 1919, the IRA started guerrilla warfare. And what's guerrilla warfare? That's when soldiers fight through tactics such as hiding, surprise attacks. They're not in formation. They're not in specific groups. They're sort of just in small pockets that kind of do these like guerrilla type attacks so that they won't be recognized and contained. So in 1921, we had a treaty to create the Irish Free State, but it only allowed 6 countries in Northern Ireland to withdraw. but the British still maintained ports in the south. So in other words, Northern Ireland was free, but Southern Ireland was not. So some of Northern Ireland withdrew from the Free State, was still part of British rule. Britain was still in some parts of the south, so it wasn't like all of Ireland was free. It was only parts of Ireland, and that's because they had to pay back debt that Britain incurred while they were waging this war. So we have a country that's split into Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, and this is part of why we have a civil war happening here where brother fights brother. So, what's the problem with this? Not all Irishmen accepted or liked this agreement. Some of them were really ticked off about it, and it became effective in 1922. The 6 northern colonies left British rule as expected, and now you have these once united Irish fighters that are now split into 2 factions. You have the IRA, who supported the Free State. So the Irish Republican Army did not want to be part of British rule. They supported the Free State. They fought the Civil War against Southern Irish and the British. And O'Flaherty, who was a member of the IRA, centers his short story on a scene of fighting in Dublin where an IRA sniper shoots at Free Staters. Here's the logo and flag for the Irish Republican Army. We'll end with this. Our last slide is just some vocabulary, and these are words that you should know what they mean. I will add some notes to this PowerPoint, but you can also write this down. Beleaguered is a verb, and this word means attacked or surrounded. So when you get to number 1 on your vocabulary on the interactive reader, that's what this word means, okay? We have fanatic. A fanatic, this is a noun. And a fanatic is someone who is devoted to a cause, right? Like a fan who's really into something, but they're very extreme. They are extremists. The turret, this is a noun, and this would be like the top part or weapon equipment that sits on top of like a tank, for example, and has a machine gun attached to it. A parapet is a small wall or division. So this is what our sniper was hiding behind, this little wall on top of the roof that he could kind of lift his head and occasionally look over. We have a lot of nouns here. A ruse is a trick. So remember the sniper, he tries to kind of trick or fool the opponent into thinking he's been shot by holding up, I think, his hat on the tip of his gun, waving it, and then letting it fall. Silhouetted is an adjective, and it means we're only seeing the shadow or silhouette or profile of someone. Spasmodically is an adverb, and it kind of means where you're kind of like having like a seizure or spasms, okay? Remorse is a noun, and it means regret or guilt, basically feeling bad for something that you have done. Reeling can be an adjective or an adverb, okay? And reeling just means like confused and dazed and shocked by something. So as you guys are reading the story, keep in mind some of these words. Ascetic is an adjective. It has a lot of different meanings. But let me look it up. In the case of the story, and you should write these down, these definitions, in your notes to get full credit for your notes. Sorry to make you guys wait.